Alright, so in today's video we're checking out the Wanbo Mozart 1 Pro 4K projector, and this is the second generation model for 2025. Before I get into all the features and everything, I just want to show you what comes in the box. So you get this pretty cool remote. We'll talk about this here in a second. You get a small introductory manual, a warranty card, so it's got a 1-year warranty, and you get the power cable. So this is the AC cable, and then you have a DC adapter here. This is a 19 volt, about 10 amp power adapter for the projector. So in terms of the projector itself, the size here, I'll put up on the screen the dimensions, and it weighs about 3.3 kilograms. You primarily will probably want to put this on some sort of a table or some sort of shelf to project it to your wall, but there are mount points underneath the rubber feet where you can screw it onto a plate and then ceiling mount it, so that's a possibility. But here's a look at the front. You got this giant lens here. It does have a very nice focusing mechanism. We'll talk about that here in a second. On the top here you got your power button, turn it on and off. Nothing on the left side. And here again is the bottom, and you just have this little foot that comes out that you can pivot out that you want if you want to angle it up like so. You could do that. That's also a possibility. Here's a look at the back. Got your DC power in, USB port here, and this is for your flash drive. So if you have any like 4K video files that you want to play, MP4 files, that stuff, audio files, you can plug that in here, and then it can play it through the interface, the Google TV interface we'll talk about here in a second. HDMI port, and it's HDMI 2.0. And then you have a 3.5mm headphone jack. So if you don't want to use the built-in audio, you can send your audio out to a separate audio system. Over here on the right side, you've got this subwoofer. So you got a little bit of a subwoofer here, and there's two 10-watt speaker elements on the inside here. So 20 watts total, along with a little subwoofer. And the audio is very loud and very crisp. So I'll demonstrate that here a little bit later in the video. So for this new updated 2025 model, second generation, the most important feature here is going to be the brightness. It's much brighter than the first generation, which I did not get to review, but they're saying it's about 1200 ANSI lumens, and it is quite bright. So you can project this in a room that's not completely dark. So if you have some ambient light, you'll still be able to see the image no problem. Now, while they do have the 4K in the name of the product, the native resolution of the projector is 1080p. However, it is able to do 4K decoding, so any kind of 4K files that you're going to send through the Google TV interface, either YouTube or Netflix or any other services that you add on to this projector, you can actually stream it in 4K and it will project it out, although the native LCD resolution is 1080p. Now, the updated control interface for this is now Google TV instead of the previous Android TV, so it's a much cleaner, much more concise, and well-developed interface that you're going to be able to use to control and get all your media. And of course, you can use this remote. And one of the features of this remote is the Google Assistant feature, so you can press this button and speak to the projector or to the remote, and for example, ask for a particular type of video or service, and it'll bring it up without having to go to the interface. Of course, you can use the joystick and the button, of course, to select all the menu items. I'll show you that here in the demo part of the video later, but this does have pretty much all your features here. It's got your home button, power button, you got your joystick to control the interface, volume button here, you got your focus buttons here, mute button, and then your pretty much your standard services: YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Disney Plus. Of course, Google TV does have thousands of services that you can add on, and also a bunch of apps as well. So basically, the way you think of this projector is as like a lot of TVs that you get out there, like 55-inch TVs, 65-inch LCD TVs, OLED TVs will have Google TV built into it. This is basically the same thing. So treat this as a TV that has a Google TV interface in it, and it's basically the same thing. Now, one of the really cool features of this projector is the ASA 3.0 auto setup. So there's a little camera here in the front that you can see that will basically look at the image that's being projected, and if it sees it's out of focus, it'll basically correct the focus. It'll correct the keystone, the angles, and all that kind of stuff. So if you have this projector at a weird angle, with whether it basically where if the location that you're putting this is at a funny angle compared to the wall, it will adjust all the angles so that the projected image will be nice and square and in focus. So that's what this little camera in the front does. Additionally, this does have MEMC and VRR support. So those are basically features that adjust the image frame rate and also basically compensates for motion blur. So one of the issues that a lot of projectors have is motion blur with very fast moving video. So if you are watching video that has a lot of action scenes in it, maybe so like live sports or fast moving objects, oftentimes on older projectors from previous generations you'll get a lot of motion blur, and this feature will correct for that and actually make the image very nice and smooth when it's playing back. Also, in terms of the connectivity, it does connect to your network via dual band Wi-Fi, so 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It does have Bluetooth available on it as well. And additionally, as I mentioned before, it is basically like a TV, but it has built-in Chromecast support. So I know a lot of TVs out there have Chromecast support. This one has it as well. So once you attach it to your Wi-Fi network, it will show up as a Chromecast device. So if you have any videos on your phone, for example, you can cast it to this projector and it will play off your phone directly. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the demo. I'll show you the Google TV interface and some of the features that I mentioned. All right, so I had to set up Google TV, log into my Google account. To take about 10 minutes to download all the apps. I'm not sure why I downloaded stuff that I didn't need. It asked me if I had any accounts, and I had like basically just YouTube, but it downloaded Netflix and Prime Video and everything else here. But it's pretty easy to find stuff. You can just use the remote, and there is this assistant app button here. You're going to press and hold this, and then you can just start talking, and it'll find videos for you. So press and hold. Find 4K videos on YouTube. There it goes. And let's go ahead and pick one. All right, let's pick this one. And let's make sure that we're playing this in 4K. Go over here to the settings. Okay, we are in 4K. So just to give you an idea what the quality is like. And gonna get a little bit closer. Gonna turn the volume up. And that's actually adjusting the focus a little bit here. Make sure we're in focus. That looks pretty good. Okay, now we can adjust the volume. Yeah, it sounds really good, although it is off to my left. And there is an ambient light source behind me, which is why you can see basically the walls are not dark. Obviously, you want to be in a totally pitch black room when you're doing a projection like this. But 1200 ANSI lumens, and it is definitely bright enough to make out all the details in this video at least. And just to let you know, show you that I have a light source right over behind me, but it is looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off that light source behind me and see how good the contrast is. All right, so with that light source off, definitely improves the image even more. Yeah, it feels like I'm watching like some sort of an OLED display, even though it's just a sort of off-white wall here with a little bit of a texture to it. Yeah, pretty good quality. Not bad. That actually give you a pretty good idea of the video quality from this projector. I'm not going to show you anything from Amazon Prime because that will get my video copyright striked and then the video will get taken down. So unfortunately I can't show you any of that. We'll hit the home button. Let's go back to the home page. And here is what the home page looks like with with basically in a fairly dark room, no other ambient light source. And you can see the interface looks nice and crisp and clean. So of course, this being Google TV, you can of course install a bunch of apps. So you can go over here to it's like basically like an app store. You can download additional apps. You can search for additional apps if you like. So they got a bunch of categories here. It's basically like the Android Play Store, but it's for Google TV, entertainment, music and audio, video players, tools, lifestyle, sports, news, productivity, health and fitness, communication, business. Let's see what's under health and fitness. Yeah, so obviously things like Peloton, for those that have the machines, etc. You want to use this projector for your, basically as a large screen. They have apps for Google TV as well. Let's see, under news and magazines, you got your typical news sources, Fox News, CNN, ABC, etc. So under sports, yeah, typical stuff, Fubo, ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL. Of course, all of these will probably require an additional subscription, NBA TV, etc. So under entertainment, got your Roku channel, Paramount, Peacock, yeah, all the typical TV and video sources here. PBS, for example, here's one. Probably need an account or a login for each one of these. Let's go ahead and check and see if it'll play anything. Yeah, it looks like you have to install it. But it's just basically pretty similar to installing apps on the like on your Android phone using the Google Play Store list of processes. Very, very similar. Yeah, it does look like I need to sign in, and I have not signed into PBS in a long time, so we're going to pass on this one. But it looks like pretty much all of these services will need some sort of an account, a login, and most of these are going to be paid, so you'll need a subscription to play anything. Yeah, just scrolling through here, you can just see they have a whole bunch of options available to you. So if you're kind of wondering if you are not going to be able to have something, it's probably going to be available. Just have to download the app and install it. Can, of course, play things from other sources. So you have the HDMI source. You can play things off of a USB stick on the bottom. Those are things that you can plug into the back, like pretty much standard, H.264, H.265 video files. You can play that on this player as well, and it'll just basically act as a large screen. All right, just to give you an idea what the noise level is like for the fan, I'm going to put this sound meter here right next to the fan. You can see it's under 40 decibels. It's basically quieter than the sound of my voice. Yeah, so that's going to cover for my review of the Wanbo Mozart Pro. Very nice projector, very good features, and if you are in the Google ecosystem and you want to use all those Google TV apps, this is a great option. I'll be linking in the description if you guys want to check it out. That'll do for this video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.